Perfect. So let's get it started. Let's switch to English. Please welcome Filemon Schoffer from 3D Hubs. I will say a few more words about this company because I think it's one of the greatest startups I've encountered in 3D printing so far. Sometimes if you hear about a new startup, about a new venture, about a new idea, you go to the website and just a second it loads up, you know, okay, those guys know exactly what they are doing. And I think 3D Hubs is exactly one of those concepts where the design is proper, where the idea is proper, where the business concept is obvious. And I'm super excited to have him here to present about the vision, hopefully, about what's coming next, what are the big steps, what happened so far, and what's going to happen, obviously. So please come on stage and thanks for coming.
Please. Yeah, well, welcome everyone. I assume for this presentation that everybody knows what 3D printing is, or at least have some concept of what it is. And I will tell how we at 3D Hubs think we can use 3D printing to change the way we make things now. So bear with me throughout this presentation to find out. And I personally believe that 3D Hubs is always best explained through our very first user story. So this is not a joke. This is our very first use case, which exemplifies, I think, very well what we are trying to achieve. So here's the story. This guy here, his name is Ken. And he's this extreme kind of sports guy. He does all these kind of things. He does bungee jumping, parachute, paragliding, all these kind of things. And when he does these kind of things, he always has this GoPro camera with him. And he attaches this camera to all his gear to film his own endeavors. And to have this camera attached to his stuff, he always needs to buy these attachment things from Amazon.com or whatever. And they cost him like 30 to 40 euros each. And the other day, he was going to one of his travels, and he realized he needed one of these other things again. And he couldn't find it on Amazon. He could find something similar, but not the same. And he could buy it for 30 euros or 40 again, and it would take 2 weeks to ship. So he had a problem. So he went to Google. He found us, apparently. We were just live. And he found this guy, Ruben, 14-year-old kid with a 3D printer. 3D printing is his life. He knows everything about it. He makes chessboards. He can do everything with the machine. So Ken explained his problem to Ruben, and he said, "Can you help me out?" And Ruben said, "Yeah, I can." "Can you make me my object?" "Yes, I can." "Oh, that's cool. How much will it cost?" 5, 10 euros, maybe, max. "Oh, that's great. When is it done?" "Tonight." And this is exactly what we do. With 3D Hubs, we connect people who need to 3D print something with people who own the machines. And this brings up to the front 3 important benefits, amongst others, from 3D printing. The fact that it's local, so you can get it fast, cheap. It's on demand, so I need it now. I can get it now. And it's customizable. That was the thing the guy needed. He needs something special which fitted his needs, and he needed it now. And why is this possible now, in our opinion? This is just an example out of many, is that not long ago, this is like, I think it's 3 or 2 years old even, you had this printer. It's a professional printer. It was almost $500,000. End of 2013, the Form 1 was released, a desktop printer, which more or less has the same specs. It is $3,000. This is huge. This is only within 2 years, these specs has transferred to your desktop, which allows everyone to be a professional producer now. This really reminds of the computer days. I wasn't there myself, but I've heard similar stories. So this is huge. But there's one problem. There's now about 100,000 plus printers sold, and they're like cars. A lot of time, they're doing nothing. So I'm an expert, I'm a hobbyist, I want this machine. I print 3 or 4 things for myself, and then it's standing still. It's like a car, which is parked. You know it's good, you like it, but you don't use it. So there's 95% idle capacity. So it is this capacity we would like to use to produce stuff for other people. And this is where 3D Hubs comes in. So we are basically a website, a platform, where as a user or a designer or an architect, you can find a 3D printer near you, a lot of times within 100 meters of yourself, and you can get your stuff that you design or you want to have, you can get it printed there, or you find content somewhere else. And if I have a 3D printer, I'm not using it half of the time. I can be a micro-entrepreneur and make money with my idle capacity. And the process is fairly simple. You have a design from a user point of view. You upload it. You select a printer. And you pick it up. That's the process. So it's a new way of making things. So it's totally different than traditional manufacturing methodology. Yeah, I have a slide video to exemplify actually what I told, but just to exemplify. Ready? So this girl, she is on a content site, and she chooses from a design. She prints, she selects near her home a 3D printer, a micro manufacturer. He gets the order in, he prints the product for her, and she picks it up. So at her neighbor's place, only a few blocks away, she gets the product printed. And you meet people along the way. So yeah, so this was the idea a year ago. So we started March 2013, and it was the concept. We thought this could be something new, a new way of manufacturing stuff, but you don't know, of course. So we went online, and well, not more than a year after, this is the result. So we have almost 5,000 print locations at the moment. And as I said, I mean, estimated is that about 80,000 to 100,000 of desktop printers are currently active. So we have about 5 to 10% of the global market on the platform already. So this makes 3D Hubs the largest decentralized production platform connected ever. So I also looked around here. I'm not from this area, but I think we're about here. I think there was one in Erfurt itself. But as you can see, the Netherlands and Belgium are just filled with printers. It's also funny to note, I just noticed when I made this slide, that in Belgium you have Flanders and the French side. There's apparently a cultural difference there as well. So yeah, basically filled with 3D printers. So what we believe is that you can have digital distribution of products instead of physical distribution of products. This is an important thing. So what Amazon has done for books and Spotify does for music, we aim to do with 3D Hubs. So you buy digital files, so you don't buy physical products anymore, but only digitally, and you produce them locally where you want them, when you want them. So you don't produce at scale, you don't have waste, only on demand. And there's already a few companies, amongst a few we are in talks with as well, that are already really investigating these kind of opportunities. So, I mean, as an example, Nike, really as an example, this is not a real life example yet, but they are trying to have 3D printed soles which fit your feet perfectly. I mean, we all wear now confection sizes in clothing, in shoes, but it's only a relic of mass production. Everybody actually has his own kind of foot or size. So with 3D printing, you can have on-demand shoes made for your feet. So this is a whole new set of products you can buy in that sense, and it would make total sense to have it printed at your neighbor or at the corner. So you would buy new shoes online, you choose the design and pick them up a few minutes later or a few hours later, just around the corner. A lot of time cheaper than they are now. And they're unique. So I think I've already told this a bit, but this is more of the business slide of it, I would say. So you have mass production, which is not local, not on demand, not personalized. And you have 3D printing 1.0, maybe like shapeways or whatever. So you have a lot of opportunities. You can personalize, but it's not really on demand. Open for discussion. But it's not local, definitely. And then we think digital manufacturing 2.0, the new way of making things. This is a bit the story of where we want to go and what we think the general idea is of where it should go. But it's fun to see, because we have a lot of data flowing out through the platform, which we all by the way, we all publish for free on the trend report, to see what people are making now at this moment, because it says something about the current maturity of the technology, I believe. So as you can see, the majority is still hobby and prototyping at the moment, which for me indicates that it's not a mature technology yet. As the technology matures, you will see that the end products, so the end consumer products of this system will start to increase. So more household, more fashion, more gadgets, things everybody can use. So we're now still in this area, and that would not surprise many of you, I think. But my expectation is that we will move further along this axis in the near future. Just some examples for fun. This is a guy in Amsterdam. He used to take old electronics parts and make new machinery out of it. So he designed from old electro engines, he made a coffee grinder. So you put coffee in here, and he makes a coffee grinder. And the whole casing and the housing, when he gets an order in, he's a designer, he places the order for the housing in 3D Hubs, and he gets the housing like a day later, and he delivers the product to his customer. So the whole housing and stuff he builds through our platform, which is for us cool, of course. Art, we see a lot, this famous example, but we see a lot of artists trying our platform out for prototyping, stuff like that. And this one I really like. It's a bit dark here. Should have taken another picture. But these are concrete lamps. And this is actually a pretty famous designer in Amsterdam, and he designs everything in concrete. And usually, like half a year ago, he made all his casings from wood or expensive metals and stuff like that. And now he uses 3D printing. So his product iterations have dropped by tenfold, because he now 3D prints something, puts the concrete in it, and it's done like the day after. So for him, for his kind of products, it's already revolutionizing the way he makes stuff. And this is a niche example, but we hope this will expand to the rest of the world this way. And drones. Everybody builds drones nowadays. I don't know what it is. This is too dark. I just wanted to show you, this is a trend report we released not long ago, which is an activity heat map of 3D printing around the world. Because we have so high percentage of 3D printing moving through a platform, we can visualize pretty cool data. So you see, like, Western Europe is really like the hotspot of 3D printing. When you zoom in, you'll notice that, for example, Milan, a design community, it shows. You'll see it here, that it lights up. And the Netherlands and London, you'll see it show up. Well, New York, Boston area, LA, San Francisco, very clear. And it's a fun way to just see where is happening what. So it's interesting data. Again, free for everyone to check out. This is maybe also a personal thing I would like to tell a bit about. We're an online company, so that means the general process of offering our services is extremely scalable. We can go online with our platform to the rest of the world, and basically it's endlessly scalable. But in our case, our whole product is really fan-driven. It's a community-based brand. I mean, people should believe in it. The product isn't flawless. 3D printing is still complicated. So there's a lot of education involved and basically offline contact. So we feel the physical contact with people, the relationships we build with them as our supplier maker community, the guys with the printer, is extremely important. But it's not scalable for us. So we launched a mayor program. So in all bigger communities, we have mayors. And there's even one here. Niels was here. He's our mayor from Munich, who basically manage and build the relations in the local communities for us. So they are basically the representative, and they spread the word about 3D printing all around the world. So we have now, I'm not sure if I have a slide about this. Yes, I have. Oh, I'll come back to that. So they do three main things. They organize events for offline activities. So this is a new way of internet companies, we think. So maybe it's good to, the general story. Before you build a company 10 years ago, and you are in an area, and you relate to that area, and slowly over time you expand, then came the internet, unlimited scalability, but not personal, anonymous. And we felt that there's a need for contact and relation within this product. So it's a new way of connecting scalabilities offline and online. So they organize events physically. They grow local 3D printing. They talk about the PR, all these things, and they give the community support voluntarily, because they like what we do, and we support them in what they do. So we have now over 50 plus mayors involved all around the world. So imagine we're a small company, less than 10 people, but we have 50 plus of these guys, influencers, knowledgeable in their area of work, all around the world. I only pasted a few, but there are more everywhere. And we have a total of 20 plus physical meetups a month. So if you want to know about 3D printing anywhere in the world and want to do something with this, basically every day, almost, there's a 3D Hubs event somewhere in the world, which is also good from the branding point of view. Yeah, maybe a quick look into the future is that, yeah, we are not doing this alone. So we're driven by the community, as I said before. It's very important, but also partnerships, which I haven't really spoken about, is that we are still focusing really at a niche market because the process of this whole platform starts with uploading a design. And this means you need to be a designer or either find the content to start 3D printing. So for example, I cannot send my own mother to the website because she wouldn't know what to do. If I say, okay, start, upload your design. What design? 3D print design. What is that? So there it stops. So 99% of the people, honestly, cannot use the site at this moment. So we need a way to generate files, to have designs, all these kind of things. Well, and Autodesk is the king in these kind of things. They make software that can make you 3D draw stuff. And we have a partnership with them that you have now a print button in all of their software, which prints the file directly to 3D Hubs near your house. So you're designing in the software. You draw something you like. Imagine a kid can do this. You click print and you pick it up at your neighbor. So we have the whole value chain there covered with these kind of partnerships. And we're trying to evolve more and more integrations this way. Basically, we're building the new print button, as we like to call it, for the internet, where you can basically print things you see and get it printed locally. Near future still, but. Yeah, and that is, was my last quick view into the future. Yeah, I think I want to use the rest of the time for questions if there are. That's it.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the great talk. I think we should keep up the discussion.
Yeah, fantastic presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have one very simple question, I believe. What is your business model?
We take a percentage on each transaction. Okay. So each transaction to the site, we take 15%, 1.5, and 85 goes directly to the 3D printer owner. But we're also like in transparent talks because most people found it reasonable, but I've also heard people who said, you cannot do that. Open for discussion. We try to be transparent about all these things as well. On the other end of the spectrum, there's no advertising. There's no all the data on the site, which is potentially worth a lot, we give away to the community because, again, we feel the company is community-driven, so they have the same right to the data as we have. So we really have that in our emphasis of strategy. But yeah, the money should come from somewhere. So we thought if we offer them services like we automatically fix files once they're uploaded. So we do slicing, we fix the file. The whole money issue is automated as well. So for all these services, plus the community stuff, meetups, all these things, we ask 15%. So that's the deal. Yeah.
Yeah, also many thanks for your presentation. I have a question. I have also like a small printing company in Leipzig, and the most issues I have is that people that want to print, they don't know much about, even if they are designers, if they are company, they don't know much about the printing technology, and that's why I usually get files that I can't print with FDM, without support structures. So what are your suggestions for solving this, or do you have an automatic system that says printers can print that, or it can't be print, and yeah, how do you solve that? What are plans in the future?
Yeah, so the last question is yes, we automatically check these things, but on the other hand, still a lot comes through, which is difficult. So it doesn't solve everything. So again, and that's why I personally like the question. Again, I come back to the community thing, because with normal customer service, this would be impossible. We, at our company, would have 50 people now on the phone, on the mailing, stuff like this. So, and I think we got covered by Pando Daily last week, and they called our company Connecting You to the Friendly Neighborhood Geek, they quoted. And I really like that one. So what we do, the hubs, which own the printers, they are experts, and they like what they do. That's why they're on the platform. So if there's a customer, I say, I know Joe, he's in London, he can help you out. So, and they like it. So the hubs are happy because they can share their knowledge with the rest of the world and potentially make money from it. And the customer gets the best one-on-one service you can imagine, and it doesn't cost anybody anything. And that's how we do it. So it's a community, so again, community solves it.
Just a comment from my side. I mean, I think it's good that not too much is filtered out, because otherwise there wouldn't be a challenge. I mean, everybody knows that feeling. There's a challengey STL coming in, and at some point you will fix it or print it. Yeah, but I mean, there are also new techniques coming, also mentioning your new partner, Autodesk. I mentioned it yesterday. They have this big thing coming with the SLA, open source SLA thing. So there's more and more traction coming for different techniques at a lower price point. I think there will be solutions.
Hi, I have a question. How does one get registered for printing on your on 3D hubs? And is there a charge for getting registered?
No, no. So, like I said, we only charge when the transaction is made. The rest is all free. So you basically log in as on any other site through Facebook or through email, or you make an account basically, or Google, all the major things. And then you're a member of the community. Costs you nothing. So it's in that sense also a bit of a social network focused on an industry, in this case 3D printing. And then at any time you can place an order. Yeah.
What about the range of printing qualities that you have? Are they mainly all FDM one-color printers, or do you have, how many are two-color printers? How many are even more advanced technologies in your printers?
Yeah. This is something we show in the trend reports as well. I don't prepare the slide for this, but it's a good question. So you can look it up at the trends, that's to start with. At this moment, it's mainly individuals with FDMs, mainly. But one can imagine as industrial printers, like I showed, gets more affordable, the part that is more professional printer quality will increase over time. And we basically solve this again through community, reviewing. Very simple. If you have enough reviews on each hub, on each printer assignments, sooner or later the best hubs will show up. So you have the early adapters. They have the risk of choosing maybe a bad printer. Although, I mean, in that case you refund. I mean, it doesn't happen a lot, but if it happens, you just refund. And then after a while, everybody got so many reviews, and then it's solved. You know which one are good. And so there's no steering from our side or anything on this.
What about like a fallback? So if there's no printer in a certain region, or if there's not the correct printer in a region, offering something like a professional service provider as a fallback option, like on mitfahrgelegenheit.de or so, where you see Deutsche Bahn as a fallback for car sharing. So the German train is offered then.
Yeah, we are thinking of this. This is still something we have not solved, and it's a good point. So yeah, something on our to-do list. Yeah.
How long is the to-do list?
Pretty long. No, but this is I mean, actively on. I mean, we talk about this at this moment. I mean, one thing, we added shipping, which was a discussion because the whole local aspect is one of the strengths, right? But we notice still, you have some customers in different areas which want to try a printer over there, so you still need shipping in the end. So we got them shipping, which solved a lot of this problems.
Okay, so I could order from a printer in New York?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Technically, yes.
That's
but
new to me.
It will cost you more because of the shipping, and that's the whole idea. So my expectancy is, but depends also on price on shipping, is that in the end, locally is always, it makes sense, right? That's the better idea. But if you have the special type of printer that only exists in New York, you can order there, no problem.
Perfect. Are there any more questions? Yep.
Hi, who sets the price for the objects? Are you doing it based on the object alone, or do I need to get a quote from the printer guy next door?
Yeah, it's the last thing. So again, we do not interfere at all with the marketplace itself. But the printers need to be transparent about their prices beforehand. So all the printers, they have a price per volume of material. So you get a quote, but if you get a calculator yourself, you already know what it's going to be. So it's not that. So you get the price before you give the assignment. So that's important. And the hubs have to decide for themselves what's good for their pricing. So it's in that sense a real marketplace. Yeah.
Is it already? Can you already observe that there's like competition going on, for example, in Amsterdam, that they are underbidding their prices, or?
I'm not sure if underbidding, it's in that sense suggestive maybe. But yeah, I mean, we've noticed that hubs, they mail us, for example, hey, I haven't had an order, something I do wrong, so we check it out. We say, okay, you have a higher price than your 3 nearest printers, and it is a marketplace, so maybe you should consider dropping the price or offer special services. Like I'm extremely helpful in fixing designs or whatever. So you have to have something to offer, right?
So there are also additional options, like I can post-finish the prints, or I bring them to you, or I'm an expert and I can consult you in any way?
Yeah, but I have to be honest, we want to automate these things as well. And now this is still like, each hub has a description page where he can offer these kind of services. But in the short term, we'd like to offer that through the platform as well as like one big, how do you say it, a toolbox of things you can order at hubs. At this moment, it's the hub's personal page where he can just write, okay. So he has his own storefront, basically, and he can say, oh, I'm very good in drones. So if you want special drone skills, buy with me or something.
Perfect. Any more questions to Filemon? No more questions. I have one more question. Okay. You showed several maps where you showed the activity of the hubs and the count of hubs themselves. Mm-hmm. You were a tricky guy. You said something like, oh yeah, you see how the activity is, and 3D printing is more popular here and there. But I think it's also connected to your readiness or your location. You're coming from Netherlands, and everything is going out from there. Yeah, you're definitely a hip startup, so you need to be in San Francisco, so something goes on there. Yeah. So what's your thoughts on the growth strategy? How important is it for you guys to be on site somewhere, I don't know, in the Asian market or in Germany more present?
That's a good question also, because we are still discussing these kind of things in the team as well. So I can speak on a personal account maybe. I mean, we are still small, we are a startup, so that means that focus is the main thing all the time. Because, I mean, there are coming things, we do stuff, and okay, no, we need to focus. So we're very low on capacity. And that means for now, we are really focusing on strategic cities. London, San Francisco, Los Angeles, these kind of things, which we think are like the main cities where it happens, so, and the main 3D printing communities are. That does not mean we do not support the other ones. So we are actually at the moment building a whole team of country responsibles for France, for Germany. On all these countries we'll have somebody who's speaking the local language, supporting these communities, and do things we cannot offer at this moment. So we're taking the expansion around these cities in different languages very serious. But there's also focus. And for example, China, it's always the discussion. It's a huge market, and if you do well, probably the biggest. But at the moment, we do not have a Chinese website, and we do not plan to make it the next months. Yeah.
Okie dokie. Any more questions? Oh, 2 more. Crazy.
Hi. Why not China?
Yeah. It's also a business. I mean, you need a Chinese website to start with.
Okay.
So that's an investment. And can we make that investment right now? We could, but it would be a matter of priorities. So our conclusion was, but it's more of a strategy thing. So I cannot back this up with data or anything.
Are you scared of China?
Well, it's a high risk. It's high risk, high gain. So we were putting a lot of risk in by putting our efforts, our limited efforts, into China now.
Okay. So
we would basically risk the company, because if we fail, we're out.
Yeah.
And in that sense, the States makes much more sense as being a market we know, also very big. So it's a risk.
Is there actually a competing company like yours actually in Asia? Because I always think that there's a huge isolation between what we think in Europe and America and what's going on in Asia. Is there actually something like your company, like your organization there already?
Yeah, smaller ones, yes. But this is also where the mayors come in again. So we do have mayors in China.
Okay.
We have 4 mayors in China, so I talk with them a lot, like what's happening there, what's going on. So we do have, in that sense, eyes and ears, and we are in contact with people. And yes, there are companies offering similar services in different approach than we do, but yeah, that's as much as I know.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me quickly comment on the last one before we get to the other question. It's funny, I opened up the whole bring you on stage with saying, you look at their website and you see they know what they are doing, and you can look at several. I don't want to push them as they are definitely the biggest in their area what they are doing, but you can look at several websites who are doing or offering similar stuff, and you just feel in my personal opinion, from the very first second that they don't know what they are doing. So it's really about, I think, the design aspect, the personal stuff, the sharing stuff, trend sharing, and so it's really the deeper understanding of the community and about the impact. So that's my personal opinion, my fanboy
Thanks.
part.
Hi. My question is about patents. So what do you think might happen if somebody tries to sell something which is patented in some way?
Yeah. So basically there are 2 answers to this. Something we aim for, and the legal rules at this moment. So in a legal sense, let me start with legal sense, the transaction is between a user, a customer, and a hub. We play no legal role in this kind of thing. So we try to block weapons, and we do automate checks. So because we do believe in patent rights. But the responsibility legally is not with us, it's with the customer. If he does patent infringement, it's his problem, he's suable. Okay, but we do agree that this needs to be solved. So you have solutions, and we are looking into those, like streaming instead of sharing the file. So streaming directly to a printer without really sharing it, all these kind of things. A lot of different opinions about this, because some people feel that the open source character should also influence the way patents work at this moment. So you might also see what Spotify did for music. Maybe we need that for designs as well. So each designer basically uploads his designs to some sort of digital environment and gets a monthly fee which relates to the downloads or something like that. But maybe the old-fashioned way of patents, like this is my product, and I patent photos on a white background. Didn't Amazon do that this week? They patented photos with a white background. In the States, apparently, you can do this. But we all agree that's weird, and that will not hold. And this is a bit the thing with patents, so we do not know, but difficult discussion. I don't have the answer, to be honest.
One more question by Ian.
Okay, just one quick question. Religious and moral policies. For example, if I wanted a dildo 3D printed for my girlfriend and I didn't have a printer, and I sent it to someone and they actually denied the service of printing on moral or religious background or reasons, what is the stance with your company on that, something like that?
Yeah. So to start, a hub can always refuse orders, always.
That's okay, but we're talking about
the
religious
question is, do the
moral
reasons
question.
matter there?
Correct. Does that play a role in your company? Does you or the printing person have the right to reject a request on religious or moral grounds?
A hub has the right to reject an order without further notifications.
Okay.
So yes.
So, yeah, okay, good. But is that actually written in black and white that says, we will not print a dildo for you?
No, but it's irrelevant in that sense, I would say.
But is there actually such restrictions? Like,
no.
Guns, I can... Okay,
weapons. We have only one rule, and that's weapons.
Just weapons.
That is, and like patent infringements. If we find it, we don't do it.
Okay.
And for the rest, like I said, the transaction is between the hub and the customer, and a hub, being a company, can always refuse to offer his services.
Okay. No, but it's interesting because it won't always be people printing little toys for children.
No.
It will be humans looking for human-needed products.
Yeah.
And that can be everything and anything. And then it kind of gets a little bit complex sometimes.
Yeah, so maybe you have hubs who will do these kind of things and hubs that don't. As long as it's legal in the country of residence, that of course applies, then it's not for us to decide. No.
Oh, Fair enough. Okay, thank you very much.
I think Ian can now sign up and get to action. And I think I have a recommendation. If you don't find a hub here who prints this stuff, you should check out the Amsterdam hub. I think they have a certain area there. Okay,
No comment.
I think we... Oh, one more.
I would have one more question, because you said the transaction is between the customer and the hub. But you are some kind of also involved in the money transfer, right?
Yes, but we don't. The important difference here is legally is that we do not access the money. So we transfer it automatically. We supplying the service, but we never have access to the money itself, because that would make us a bank.
But you get your fee right away.
Only that part. So basically, the money is some sort of stream. Very small branch of it goes to us. That's our ownership. But that's the fee, and that is not involved for the product itself, for the printing, but it's for our services. And the printing transaction is between the hub and the customer.
Do you think some of your hubs pay income taxes from the money they get?
Yeah, also this yeah, it's the same as with Airbnb. I don't know if you followed the discussions around Airbnb. If I put my house on Airbnb, depends on the country where I'm in. For example, in Amsterdam, it's the first municipality where it's legal. But I still have to pay income tax. But will they find out if I don't? It's for me to decide. It has nothing to do with Airbnb. They just provide their service for people finding my house for rent. Same here. We provide the service for hub owners to sell their capacity. If they want to fraud with taxes, it's their thing. I mean, they don't do it, I think, but from a legal point of view.
It's also the same with the car sharing business model.
It's the peer-to-peer discussion, and I think it's ongoing. And I cannot answer, of course. I don't know the result.
Allow me to quickly comment on it. I mean, there's certain perspectives on it, and you could also argue, well, there's a certain benefit for society if people get started this way, don't pay taxes on a low level of usage. Then they find out, well, that's a business, and they see the benefits of signing up for a proper business, paying taxes, getting in return certain benefits of a business, right? Not paying income tax, what's the sales tax and stuff like that. So I think it's like with eBay, like with Airbnb and stuff.
Yeah.
So things will figure out. But you also have an invoicing system, right, for people who are doing it professionally.
Yeah. So we try to support whatever usage people like to use. So, yeah, that's what we can do, I guess.
Okie dokie. Any more questions? No? Okay, thank you so much, Filemon. It was great talk, great discussion.